10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We have liftoff.
Welcome to the launch of Optimal Audio. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Tim Carroll. I'm the CEO of Focusrite PLC. It is my absolute privilege to introduce you to Optimal Audio, the seventh brand of the Focusrite Group, dedicated to the commercial audio sector. As part of the Focusrite PLC, one of the largest pro audio manufacturers in Europe, Optimal Audio benefits from years of engineering experience, global reach, and support. Indeed, alongside dedicated Optimal Audio staff, a number of people from across the group, and most notably within Martin Audio, are helping to ensure Optimal Audio's success. That's why today you'll see a familiar face, but the longer-term ambition will be that Optimal Audio will have its own dedicated team. Now, before we continue, if you have any questions to pose, you can put them in the comments or the chat feature, and our Optimal Audio staff will respond. So why are we launching Optimal Audio? Well, the commercial audio sector has consistently grown over the years. Even during the pandemic, it has been one of the most robust sectors, and without doubt will be one of the vertical markets to return quickest in growth. But Optimal Audio has been in development for over 3 years, involving extensive R&D, and so the desire to build a dedicated commercial audio brand has been a long-term strategy. And now that the world is returning to some sort of normality, the timing couldn't be better to launch this exciting new brand. So to tell you more about Optimal Audio, it's my pleasure to hand over to a familiar face, Dom Harder, who has been instrumental in building Optimal Audio. Dom.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, I'm Dom Harder. I'm the Managing Director of Martin Audio and Optimal Audio. Optimal Audio has been in development for over 3 years. We took a long and considered look at the commercial audio market, and it increasingly felt traditional in approach, with products that were overly complicated to understand, install, and operate. We felt there needed to be a fresh outlook. Commercial audio is a maze of products that are overly complicated to control and understand and install. Enough of the dehumanizing specs and the overwhelming technical jargon. Just stop it. That's why at Optimal Audio, you'll find a streamlined product offering that's easy to understand, so you can make the right choice for your application quickly. Optimal Audio comes from a stable of brands that are passionate about audio quality, and with Optimal Audio, sound quality is assured. Products are simple, straightforward to install, and they can be operated by anybody, not just audio engineers. This, we believe, is the pathway for venues to inspire. As such, we have 3 distinct product categories: controllers, amplifiers, and loudspeakers, all designed to work seamlessly together. We're a one-stop solution of control, amplification, and loudspeakers for small to medium commercial audio applications. Particular focus is placed on supporting multi-zone venues such as bars, restaurants, hotels and the like. So let's start with our first category of products, our controllers. So, our Zone audio controllers with onboard DSP and web app, the heart of the Optimal Audio ecosystem. 4 or 8 Zone units, available in powered and unpowered versions at launch. They can be desktop or rack mounted, and there's convenient front panel controls for sources and levels. However, the advanced configuration happens inside the onboard web app. They also feature all the settings living on an SD card on the back of the unit, which makes it easy to replicate settings across multi-site installations. And there's a contact closure on board for an alarm override. There's a huge amount of I/O for such a compact system, with 30 inputs and 16 outputs on the large Zone 8. All of the zoners feature 4 line-ins, 2 HDMI inputs, mic inputs, and then up to 10 inputs from the Zone pads and paging stations. The control of the unit via the web app happens by connecting the Ethernet to your local area network, and then there's lots of processing available for the onboard amplifiers or for the discrete line outs on the back of the unit. Zones are controlled by Zone pads. We have 2 variants, a single Zone unit, the Zone Pad 1, and a 4 Zone unit, the Zone Pad 4. Again, they can be wall mounted, and as I've already said, single or 4 zone selection of a music source, level control of the selected music and mic inputs, and there's a local mic and mono line input as well. They're all connected back to the zones with our proprietary network via an RJ45 Cat5 connection, carrying power, audio and control. Our unique web app brings the full potential of the Zone series to your fingertips, enabling the installer to easily tailor the entire system from full EQ and signal processing to setting up of timed routines and presets either locally in a zone or globally for the whole box. It's all hosted on a web server on board within each of the Zone processors, and it's a powerful tool for the installer, whilst still being intuitive to operate, and easy to understand for the end user. Let's finish this section with a live demonstration of the web app. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you Matt Rowe, Optimal Audio's Engineering Manager. He's been here since the start of the journey, and it's his insight, experience and expertise that's helped develop our DSP controller strategy.
Hello, as Dom says, my name is Matt Rowe. I'd like to give you a live run through of the web app. Web app is served from a web server in the Zone processor by putting either the MDNS zero-conf address in your browser or the IP address. Works on any device that has a web browser, is fully responsive and supports screen sizes from phones and tablets to desktop. The front page view shows two distinct sections, the operator views and the pin lockable installer section, where the more critical settings can be secured from being tampered with. The Zones section contains level controls and music source selection for the currently selected zone. Music sources are available in a list, each of which can be named according to the music sources attached to the Zone processor. And metering here shows which sources are active. The selected music level and microphone levels are set by familiar faders, and the overall sound for the zone is shown on the meter above. Each of the named zones behaves in the same way with their own independent controls. Presets can be created per zone on the bookmark page, which capture the settings visible on each zone page. These are triggered either manually from the list or by timed routines, which we'll look at in a moment. The global presets work in the same way but capture the entire set of parameters across the product. Routines are a method to trigger presets either at the zone level or globally in response to time settings from the built-in real-time clock. With the day of week buttons, combinations of weekday, daily or weekend timings can be set for each routine, which can then trigger one zone preset for each zone or a global preset. Now we move on to the installer section, the settings here. For each zone, the zone settings allow you to name the zone and set up audio for the sources local to each zone. EQ and compression is provided for the local microphone. That's the one connected directly to the ZonePad wall controller. 3 bands of EQ are available, individually enabled, and this is in addition to the built-in analog high-pass filter. The music input on the ZonePad has 1 band of high-pass filter. A ducker is provided, which allows the selected microphone sources to automatically lower the music as for talkover. The system microphones operate in the same way with 3 bands of EQ and a compressor. These are connected centrally to the Zone processor and the level set for any zone. There are 4 stereo inputs and 2 stereo HDMI inputs on the Zone processor. Each of the HDMI inputs also supports the audio return channel, or ARC, from the display device. All stereo inputs have 1 band of high-pass EQ. Wherever you see the bookmark icon in the top right of the screen, these settings can be captured to a named preset. We move on to the output section. This provides lots of flexibility for different zone configurations. The factory setting for the outputs is the maximum number of mono zones, so a mono sum is routed to the output processing and the subsequent output. However, what we can do here, outputs can be fed from any left, right or mono sum signals of any of the zone mixes, allowing you to create a completely flexible combination of mono and stereo zones, and even duplicate zones with different output processing for the chosen combination of speakers. The output routing then splits into 2, the built-in amplifiers if fitted to the Zone processor model variant, and the line outputs. Both output types have very similar output processing, including delay, 3-band EQ, limiter and crossover. The unit's capable of operating with DHCP or a static IP address, and the MDNS.local address can be set here in the network settings for a more friendly URL in your browser. The remaining settings pages provide plenty of system health, including which wall controllers are attached to the Zone processor, the state of the power supply and amplifiers, plus whether the system is muted by the fire alarm connected to the contact closure terminals on the back of the unit. To secure the settings page, a PIN can be entered, which will be required to enter the settings pages from this point onwards.
So, in summary, the web app is simple and intuitive to operate, with a very clean user interface. It's accessed via any browser, on any device, on any platform. Control for all the connected zones. Customizable zone and input naming, presets and time of day routines, and access to all of the functions you would need to set up a modern sound system. EQ, routing, ducking, dynamics, compression, and up to 100 milliseconds of delay on every single output. Now, let's take a look at the amplifiers. So, our smart amps, a core offering of 3 amplifiers that are multi-channel with onboard DSP that can drive low impedance or constant voltage loads, providing a cost-appropriate competitive fit for the commercial audio market for any venue solution to accompany Optimal Audio's loudspeakers and media products, capable of 4 ohm through to 16 ohm operation or 70 volt to 100 volt operation, and flexible configuration for a wide range of applications. There's up to 30 internal DSP presets for all of the Optimal Audio loudspeaker family on board with inside the smart amps. And the 2-channel Smart Amp 10 and the 4-channel Smart Amp 20 deliver 250 watts across a pair of channels. And they're just 1/2 rack width wide. There's an accessory kit that enables you to rack mount them or link them together to mount up to 8 channels in one U. The Smart Amp 30 is a little higher power, and that's 4x250 watts in a 1 rack unit format. So on to our final section of the ecosystem, the loudspeakers. So let's take a look at Optimal Audio's loudspeaker products. Starting with Up, our range of ceiling speakers, which live up there. There's a range of 3-inch, 4-inch and 6-inch products, and there's EQ limiting and DSP presets included in the Smart Amp and zoners. And finally, as you'd expect, a high level and quality of construction with a neutral white finish. Up 3 gives performance at a competitive price. Up 4, there are 3 variants: the entry-level Up 4O, an open full range unit, moving up to the Up 4, which is a 2-way passive unit for 8 ohm or 1700 volt line operation, and then finally the Up 4S, as the same as the Up 4 but with a shallow back cam. Up 6 is a powerful full range passive unit with extended frequency response, which can be run at 8 ohm or by adjusting the taps 70 to 100 volt line, and has 60 watts of continuous power handling. And then on to our on-wall product offering, a range of high output, high quality passive speakers designed to deliver punchy, clean, dynamic sound. There's an 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch and 15-inch model. As you'd expect now, presets in the Smart Amps and Zone products are there to ensure sonic quality. There's a user rotatable waveguide, and that means that the unit can be used landscape or portrait, and there's a bunch of bracketry to ensure that that's possible. And then finally, our subs, the Sub 10 and the Sub 15, available at launch. These are designed with the installer in mind. There's a channeled out rear section for cable routing when wall mounted, there's Phoenix connectors, and there's a range of mounting options available. Sub 10 is a powerful low-profile subwoofer designed to complement and extend the low-frequency response of any Optimal Audio sound system, suitable for discrete installation in corners, under banquette seating, anywhere that you require. And it's a reflex-loaded 10-inch driver with 250 watts of nominal power handling and 1,000 watts of peak. Sub 15 is a high-powered 4-inch voice coil compact subwoofer for serious low-end extension of an Optimal Audio system. Response down to 40 Hz, reflex-loaded 15-inch driver, and it's a 500 watt nominal power handling with peaks of 2,000 watts. Well, there you have it, Optimal Audio, commercial audio done differently. 3 categories of product that work seamlessly together thanks to our web app. An easy selection, easy to install and easy to use. And that's why we say, relax, it's Optimal Audio. So let's talk about Optimal Audio's rollout plans. I'm delighted to announce that we have signed our first major distribution partner, Audio-Technica. They will be distributing in over 10 EMEA countries, and their team and website is already positioned to start discussing opportunities with you today. We'll be quickly extending that across more territories in EMEA and in tandem with opening routes to market in the APAC region. In APAC, Generation AV will manage those relationships on behalf of Optimal Audio. Later in the year, we'll start to expand globally to include the Americas by close of the calendar year. We couldn't be more excited to start this journey. So from me and the rest of the Optimal Audio team and the wider Focusrite family, thank you for joining us today.